He set it into a microphone in front of 500 people with the particular confidence of a man who has never been corrected. He said it slowly, with the satisfaction of someone delivering a joke whose punchline he already knows. He said he could defeat Bruce Lee using only one hand. What happened next took 11 seconds. 11 seconds that the 500 people in that arena would spend the rest of their lives trying to describe to people who were not there. Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena, March 1969. A Saturday evening in early spring, when the air still carries a chill that the arena's interior heat only partially defeats. The occasion is the West Coast Invitational Martial Arts Exhibition, a showcase event drawing competitors, coaches, and enthusiasts from across California and as far east as Nevada. The floor smells of sweat and sawdust and the liniment that fighters apply to joints that have absorbed too many years of honest punishment. The stands are full. Families in the upper tiers, serious practitioners in the lower rows leaning forward with the focused attention of people watching something they understand technically and therefore experience completely differently from the crowd above them. Camera crews from 2 local television stations have set up along the perimeter. A hand-painted banner above the main platform reads, "Where skill meets heart." The man with the microphone is Gerald Morse. He is 31 years old, 6 feet 4 inches, 268 pounds. Amateur wrestling champion of California for 3 consecutive years, 1966 through 1968. State record holder in the heavyweight division for cumulative pins in a single season. His credentials are displayed on a printed card being passed through the lower rows as he speaks, because Gerald Morse understands that his credentials are part of his performance. He has a neck that makes a grown man look twice and forearms that promoters have described in press materials as God-given instruments of destruction. He has spent 12 years in the wrestling room, another 4 in the weight room, and an additional 2 learning submission grappling from a 2-time Olympic alternate from Fresno, whose name he mentions often because the association serves him. His record in formal competition is 41 wins, 3 losses. The 3 losses are never mentioned in his promotional materials. He has a handshake that he deploys as a statement, a controlled compress of grip and pressure that he has practiced on enough men to know exactly how long it takes before the other person's expression changes. He enjoys the moment the expression changes. He has been enjoying it for 12 years. Gerald Morse is also, by universal agreement among the people who know him professionally, the loudest man in any room he occupies. Not loud in volume only, loud in a way that fills space, claims space, insists on space. The promoter who booked him for tonight's exhibition later described him as a man who walks into a room and immediately begins negotiations for ownership of it. He is not disliked exactly. He is too large and too winning for simple dislike. He is endured by his peers with the specific patience that the martial arts community extends to talent it cannot afford to dismiss, but finds exhausting to spend time with. Bruce Lee is seated in the 3rd row when Morse takes the microphone. He is there in a private capacity, having been invited by the event's head organizer, a former student who wanted his attendance, but not a performance. Bruce is wearing a dark gray turtleneck and slacks. He is 30 years old, 5 feet 7 inches, 138 pounds. He is not on the program. He has no press card. He has no credentials being passed through the audience. He is sitting between a Wing Chun instructor from San Gabriel and a sports journalist from the Los Angeles Times, who does not yet know who he is, and will spend the following week kicking himself about that. Gerald Morse has been building to something all evening. He has already demonstrated a double-leg takedown on a volunteer that left a man blinking at the arena ceiling for a full 15 seconds before remembering how to sit up. He has bent a steel bar across his forearm to audible gasps from the upper section. He is warmed up, physically and rhetorically, and he has been watching the crowd's response to each escalation with the calculation of a man who knows exactly how to time an entrance. The microphone is not a novelty for him. The microphone is his second weapon. He asks the crowd whether they have heard of Bruce Lee. The response confirms that they have. He nods with the generous patience of a man who expected this. He says, with the precision of someone who has thought about how to phrase it for maximum effect, that he respects Bruce Lee's film work. He says this with a particular inflection that turns respect into condescension, that frames the compliment as a clear separation between entertainment and the real world. He says that what Bruce Lee does in movies is impressive for the movies. He pauses to let that land. He says that he personally could defeat Bruce Lee using one hand. He holds up his right hand, palm outward, fingers spread, and he says, "This hand," with the left one behind my back, and I would still put him on the floor in under a minute. He says it with the relaxed certainty of a man announcing tomorrow's weather. The 500 people in the arena react the way 500 people react when someone says something that is either very brave or very stupid, and they cannot yet determine which. Bruce Lee does not react visibly. The Wing Chun instructor beside him glances sideways. Bruce is looking at the stage with the calm, neutral attention of someone watching a weather pattern develop and making his own assessments about where it is going. It reaches him by the indirect route that arenas provide. The promoter appears at his row first, leaning down to whisper that Morse is now pointing toward the audience and saying that his offer extends to anyone present who studies Kung Fu. The sports journalist beside Bruce notices something shift almost imperceptibly in his posture. Not tension, something quieter than tension. The quality of a decision being made. Bruce stands up. He does not raise his hand or call out. He simply stands, and the people immediately surrounding him become aware of his presence. And that awareness moves outward through the rows in the way awareness travels in crowds when something has shifted in the room's physics. Someone near the front points. Morse, on the stage, follows the pointing. He looks at Bruce Lee standing in the third row in a gray turtleneck, and he takes a moment to perform the physical comparison that he has performed on every challenger for 12 years. He takes the measure of 138 pounds, and he smiles. "Come up then," Morse says into the microphone. "Let's settle it tonight." The walk from the third row to the exhibition stage takes 30 seconds. 500 people watch every step. Bruce moves the way he always moves, with the specific economy of someone who has thought carefully about what motion costs and does not spend more than necessary on anything. He steps onto the platform and looks at Morse directly, not up at him, though the height difference requires it, simply at him, with the full deliberate attention of someone who has arrived at a place that requires their complete presence. Morse puts the microphone to his mouth one more time. He says, for the crowd, one hand. He tucks his left arm behind his back and holds it there with a grip of his own right hand that he clasps together at his spine. He looks at Bruce with the bright, performed confidence of a man who believes absolutely in what he is about to do. The crowd is not making any sound now. The camera operators have stopped adjusting their equipment and are simply recording. What happens next is this. Morse moves first. He is a trained athlete, and his move is technically correct for wrestling. A forward lunge with the right hand reaching for Bruce's collar, aiming to establish the grip that precedes every takedown in his repertoire. The grip is the foundation of his game. Without the grip, there is no leverage. Without leverage, there is no takedown. He has established this grip on 41 opponents over 12 years, and he has never once failed to establish it on the first attempt. He fails on the first attempt. Bruce's left hand redirects the incoming wrist, not with opposition but with deflection, a slight lateral rotation that moves the grip attempt past his collar and into empty space. The movement requires approximately 4 inches of travel and generates no visible effort. Morse's hand closes on air. In the second that follows, Bruce's right palm strikes the center of Morse's chest at the precise anatomical point where impact travels most efficiently to the diaphragm. The force is not generated by arm strength. It is generated by body rotation, hip drive, and weight transfer. The entire kinetic chain of his 138 pounds focused through the heel of one palm into a point approximately the size of a playing card. The impact sound carries to the upper rows. Morse's diaphragm responds the way the diaphragm responds when struck correctly. It spasms. The body's priority system immediately redirects all available resources toward the single urgent task of restoring the breathing function. This takes the body out of the fighting equation entirely. Not from pain, from the simple physiological emergency of a system that has been interrupted. Bruce steps to Morse's right, outside the grappling range, and his left leg sweeps the back of Morse's right knee at the exact moment when 268 pounds of disrupted balance is committed to that leg. The geometry does not permit any outcome other than the one that occurs. Gerald Morse goes down. He lands on his back on the exhibition platform with an impact that reverberates through the floorboards and through the seats of everyone in the first 4 rows. His left arm comes free from behind his back on the way down. He lies on the platform looking at the arena ceiling, mouth open, chest working in the shallow arrested pattern of someone whose breathing has been temporarily interrupted and is in the process of returning. Bruce stands beside him. He does not stand over him. He stands beside him, with his hands relaxed at his sides, in the same way he stood before the exchange began. His turtleneck is unaffected. His breathing rate is not visibly elevated. 11 seconds have elapsed from the moment Morse's hand moved until the moment Morse reached the floor. The arena is completely silent for what witnesses later describe as a very long time. In reality, it is approximately 4 seconds. Then it is not silent. Bruce extends his hand to Morse. He extends it with the same economy and completeness that characterized everything else in the past 11 seconds. Not as performance, not as condescension, simply as the next thing that needs to happen. Morse, whose breathing has begun returning in shallow increments, looks at the hand for a moment from the floor. Then he takes it. Bruce pulls him upright with the unhurried efficiency of someone helping a person up who needs help getting up. When Morse is vertical, Bruce speaks to him directly, not into the microphone, not to the crowd. He says, quietly and without judgment, the grip comes before everything in wrestling. But if the grip never arrives, the sequence cannot begin. He says it the way a teacher says something to a student who has just learned something the hard way and does not need additional instruction on top of the lesson already received. Morse does not respond immediately. He is still processing what his body experienced and what the processing is producing, which is the specific cognitive disorientation of a man whose operating assumptions have just been removed from him in 11 seconds in front of 500 witnesses. He nods, finally. It is a slow nod. The nod of a man who does not yet have words for what he is incorporating, but understands that incorporation is what is required. 3 of the witnesses in the front rows are active martial arts instructors. All 3 describe the exchange in the same essential terms in the days that follow, with the specific agreement that comes not from collusion, but from watching the same thing carefully. They agree on the deflection technique, the palm strike mechanics, and the sweep timing. They disagree about one thing, whether the entire sequence was planned before Morse's hand moved, or whether it was assembled in real time in response to what Morse actually did. This disagreement is genuinely interesting because both answers reveal something important about what they witnessed. One answer says it was preparation applied to opportunity. The other says it was perception so refined that preparation and response were indistinguishable. Neither answer makes what happened less extraordinary. Both make it more. The sports journalist from the Los Angeles Times, who had not known who Bruce Lee was when the evening began, filed 12 column inches the following Tuesday. His editor cut it to 7. The 7 that remained appeared under the headline, Small Man, Large Lesson at Sports Arena Event. The journalist later said in an interview that the 7 published inches were the wrong 7, that what he had cut was more important than what he kept, that what he kept was the external facts of what happened, and what he cut was his attempt to describe what it felt like to be in the third row watching a man stand up and do something in 11 seconds that took apart an assumption that had been standing for 12 years. He said he cut it because he could not make it read as journalism. It read, he said, more like witnessing, and he did not know how to submit witnessing to a newspaper that printed facts. Bruce gave one comment about the evening when asked by Black Belt magazine several months later. He was asked whether he felt he had proved something by accepting Morse's challenge publicly. His answer was direct and brief in the way that his clearest answers always were. He said he had not accepted a challenge. He said he had accepted an invitation to demonstrate a principle. He said the principle was this: size impresses people who are watching. Skill impresses people who are paying attention. In front of 500 people on a Saturday evening in March, some of them were watching. Some of them were paying attention. The ones who were paying attention learned something that night that no classroom could have given them. Because some things can only be taught in 11 seconds, in public, in front of witnesses, on a platform under arena lights. When a man with one hand behind his back reaches for a grip that is no longer where he expected it to be. 11 seconds. 500 witnesses. One principle, demonstrated once, completely, without repetition or revision, in the only language that certain lessons are ever successfully delivered, the language of contact, of consequence, of the body discovering what the mind refused to accept when it was delivered in words.